The phone vibrated with every breath. A black man was jogging in the midday sun when a pickup truck suddenly blocked his path. The door swung open, and the white man stepped out, pointing a gun at his chest. No warning, no reason. Bang! The gunshot rang out. The man fell, and the phone kept spinning. Why was a black man stopped, pointed at, and shot? What made those white men believe they had the right to open fire in broad daylight, on a public street? If you are also looking for the truth behind shocking cases like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to join us. Now, let's embark on a journey to uncover what really led to the death of Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery, born May 8, 1994, in Brunswick, Georgia. Ahmaud was the youngest of three brothers and was remembered by family and neighbors as a calm, patient, and athletic person. As a child, Ahmaud stood out at Brunswick High School with his passion for running and football. His friends called him Maud, a nickname that reflected his easygoing personality and disciplined spirit. Although he did not pursue a professional career after high school, Ahmaud maintained a daily workout routine. Running was not only a form of exercise, but also a way for him to unwind, reflect, and maintain balance in his life. Ahmaud's family was working class, not well off, but loving and close-knit. His mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, always described her son as a good kid, quiet, but very affectionate. A neighbor girl once recalled that Ahmaud would say hello to everyone he ran through the neighborhood, whether they were acquaintances or strangers. He was not the type to cause trouble, much less an excuse for tragedy. On the 23rd of February, 2020, Ahmaud started the morning like any other. The sky was clear and the wind was light, perfect for running. He put on a white shirt, sweatpants, and headphones, and left his home in Satilla Shores for his regular run. The neighborhood is a quiet residential area with wide streets and lots of construction, and one that Ahmaud often walks through. During that fateful stretch of road, Ahmaud stopped at a house under construction, perhaps to get a drink of water or simply rest. Security cameras captured him entering the construction site and leaving without taking anything with him. But this small act, stopping at an empty house, unwittingly set off a chain of horrific events. With his headphones on, his shoes still running, and his mind probably focused on getting home for lunch, Ahmaud had no idea that he had been targeted by two men he had never met. He had committed no crime. He was unarmed, just a young man exercising like any other day. But that day, even an innocuous act could be labeled dangerous, and even a wrong look could kill a person. On the afternoon of the 23rd of February, 2020, Ahmaud Arbery was jogging along a quiet street in the Satilla Shores neighborhood of Brunswick, Georgia. As he approached a construction site, surveillance cameras captured Arbery, entering the home not to break in, but apparently to observe or rest. He took nothing. Minutes later, the video shows him coming out and continuing his run. But that brief moment was what prompted two white men, Gregory McMichael, 64, and his son, Travis McMichael, 34, to set out in pursuit. They told police they believed Arbery was a suspect in a string of burglaries in the neighborhood, even though no thefts had been reported that day. The McMichaels jumped into a white pickup truck, armed with a handgun and a shotgun, and chased Arbery for several blocks. As Arbery continued to run, they attempted to head him off, evidence confirmed by multiple statements and a video of the incident. The video was shot by William Roddy Bryan, a neighbor who lives nearby. He was driving his own pickup truck, following Arbery, and recording the entire chase on his phone. In the video, Arbery is seen running along the edge of the road when he suddenly comes across the McMichaels' pickup truck blocking his way. Travis McMichael is standing in front of the truck, holding a shotgun, while Gregory is standing in the back of the truck. Arbery tried to sidestep the car, never engaging in a confrontation. But in the chaotic moments that followed as he approached the front of the car to pass, Travis got out, gun raised. A brief struggle ensued. In the video, 3 shots are heard. The last shot knocked Ahmaud to the ground. Brian continued filming. The roughly 36-second video ends with Arbery lying motionless on the ground. Tellingly, Brian himself later testified that he had tried to help the McMichaels block Arbery's path, which is why he was later convicted. As gunshots rang out across the quiet neighborhood of Satilla Shores, emergency calls began pouring in. Minutes later, Glynn County Police arrived at the scene. The white pickup truck was still parked in the middle of the street, its doors open. Travis McMichael stood near the front of the truck, and Gregory McMichael was still in the back, still holding his phone. A few feet away, the body of Ahmaud Arbery lay motionless, his chest covered in blood, his face pressed against the hot asphalt. An officer approached Arbery, checked for a pulse, but there were no signs of life. There was no gun or weapon on him. While paramedics were called, the remaining officers briefly questioned Gregory and Travis. "We were just trying to detain him until the police arrived," Gregory said. The police did not immediately arrest the father and son. They said they needed to gather more information. And then they left the scene, leaving many questions unanswered.
Guy with a red beard, jumps out holding a shotgun. He goes around. He actually exits out the passenger side, goes to the front of the truck with a handgun. At some point,
I didn't see him get out of the truck, but he had to come from the passenger side. Okay, go ahead.
At some point, they're in the middle of the roadway, getting into a physical altercation, and you witness this guy physically hitting the guy with the red beard, correct?
Dispatch units to tell us you don't already have contact. Original complainant in this was at 309 Jones Road by the name of Matt.
How long did that physical altercation take place? If you had, I know time is probably a warp for you right now, but they fought for about how long? About 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Despite witnesses, clear video footage, and all three suspects living locally, more than 70 days passed after the incident before any arrests were made. Local police initially did not make immediate arrests. Gregory McMichael was a veteran police officer and investigator with the prosecutor's office, which further clouded the case in the public eye. The local community was outraged, but it wasn't until Brian's video went viral in early May 2020, more than 2 months after the shooting, that nationwide protests erupted. The images of Arbery being chased, blocked, and then shot to death while unarmed sparked widespread outrage. Protests erupted across the country, demanding the immediate arrest of the three suspects. Social media went into overdrive, with the hashtags number Justice for Ahmaud and number I Run With Maud appearing millions of times in just a few days. Public pressure forced the authorities to act. But for many, the question remains, why did it take more than 70 days for such a clear video to trigger justice? The case was initially handled by the Glynn County Sheriff's Department, where Gregory McMichael, one of the suspects, was a senior investigator. This raised questions about the impartiality of the initial decisions. When police arrived on the scene, no one was in custody. Gregory told police that he and his son, Travis, suspected Ahmaud Arbery of being a neighborhood burglar and were simply attempting to make a citizen's arrest under Georgia law. Gregory McMichael, the father, initiated the pursuit. He claimed to have seen Arbery in the neighborhood earlier and suspected him of involvement in the robberies, though he had no concrete evidence. Gregory armed himself, called his son, and the two got into a car and chased after Arbery. Travis McMichael, the son, was the one who actually held the shotgun and pulled the trigger. In the video of the incident, he is seen getting out of the car, holding the gun in Arbery's path, and after a brief struggle, firing 3 shots at the victim. William Roddy Bryan, the third man, did not actually fire the gun but played a supporting role. He drove behind Arbery, recorded the video on his phone, and later admitted to trying to help the McMichaels block Arbery by driving in front of him. It was Bryan's video that became the key piece of evidence in the entire case. Police body cam footage from the scene shows a strange atmosphere. The two main suspects appear calm, showing no signs of fear or remorse. In the recording, Travis says Arbery came at me and that he had no choice but to shoot.
You got anybody who wants to call for you?
I live right there. We've had break-ins and my gun's stolen. And we caught him the other day, and Dad was outside and saw him running by, and the neighbors pointing and everything. So
saw who running by?
Him.
Okay.
So we run out to stop him to talk to him. He took off running. Came over here. Stopped. He come out of the truck running at us. told him stop, stop, stop till he hit me. I had nothing to do. There's nothing else I can do.
I gotcha.
Dispatch 136.
Gregory repeated that they wanted to arrest Arbery because they thought he was a suspect. However, none of them witnessed Arbery committing the crime at the time, nor did they have evidence that he had any stolen items from the construction site. Despite the body, the weapon, and the confession to the shooting, police at the scene made no arrests. Part of the reason was that Gregory had worked in the industry and was considered inside the system. The silence that lasted more than 2 months made Arbery's family unable to sit still. His mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, continuously spoke out to demand justice for her son. But everything really changed when the video filmed by Brian leaked online on May 5, 2020. Within 24 hours, the shocking clip spread across the United States, creating a wave of backlash in the media. Public pressure forced the Georgia governor to hand the case over to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI. Within 36 hours of the GBI taking over, both Gregory and Travis McMichael were arrested. William Bryan was arrested shortly thereafter. Arbery's family attorney, Lee Merritt, quickly appeared on major media outlets like CNN, Mississippi, NBC, and local newspapers. He spoke out that the case was more than just a murder. It was a demonstration of racial bias and negligence in the local justice system.
We were sitting in the back of the courtroom where Wanda has been every day of the trial, even during the jury selection process. And the first verdict was read out. You probably heard a shout in the back of the room. That was Marcus Arbery, who literally leapt for joy. I don't think he knew he was doing it. It was an involuntary reaction. And Wanda began weeping, and she continued to weep as we heard each guilty charge read.
From a silent shooting, the nation began to witness an investigation shift from the hands of acquaintances to the hands of an independent investigative force, and justice, at last, began to be placed on the table. The trial of 3 defendants in the murder of Ahmaud Arbery officially began on the 5th of November, 2021, in Glynn County Superior Court, Georgia. From its early days, the case has attracted intense attention from the media, activists, and the African American community nationwide.
So I want to talk to you about some of the legal terms that you used yesterday, okay? All right, so first I want to talk to you kind of about probable cause, all right? And you testified yesterday that you had been trained in the military for the Coast Guard, that even when you had arrest powers, before you could arrest somebody, you needed probable cause, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and you even gave the jury the definition of probable cause, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you said it was a level of suspicion by a reasonable and prudent person, given the overall circumstances, to believe a crime has been committed.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But that's really only half the definition, isn't it?
That's what I was taught in my training, was that definition right there.
So, isn't it correct that, well, let me ask it this way. Didn't you learn from your training that you need 2 parts?
Reasonable suspicion first, and then probable cause.
So, isn't it true from your training that you need 2 parts of probable cause? You need probable cause that a crime has actually been committed, and that the person you're arresting is the one who committed the crime.
That would be correct.
All right.
All 3 defendants, Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan, face a range of charges, including murder, aggravated assault, and false imprisonment. Prosecutors have argued that their actions were not self-defense or citizen's arrest, but a racially motivated pursuit that was unjustified and resulted in the death of an innocent man. One of the most notable moments of the trial came when Travis McMichael took the stand to testify in his own defense. His testimony was televised live on multiple national news channels. During his testimony, Travis said he felt threatened when he saw Arbery running toward him, and that he only fired when he felt his life was in danger. But under intense questioning from the prosecutor, Travis was forced to admit that Arbery was unarmed, made no verbal threats, and did not engage in any aggressive behavior until he was confronted at gunpoint.
So you're gonna go down and investigate, even though you testified, you're not going to chase or investigate someone who is armed,
I
correct?
don't know if he was armed or not. I don't know if he was armed or not. Just go and look. I'm not gonna, just looking at the totality of the circumstance. It's not stopping you to the point and say, you know, are you armed, or if he had a gun or anything, I would have backed off. I just wanted to go and see what's going on. That was all it was at that point.
You didn't tell your dad this is a really, really bad idea that could go really wrong for us and we should just stay here and call 911. You didn't say that, did you?
I didn't.
Prosecutors continued to play video footage shot by Brian, which clearly showed Ahmaud Arbery trying to avoid confrontation, even changing direction several times to escape the three men pursuing him. This detail was highlighted as key evidence proving that the victim was running away, not attacking. After nearly 2 weeks of trial and more than 10 hours of deliberation, the jury returned its verdict on the 24th of November, 2021. All three defendants were found guilty. Travis McMichael, found guilty on all 9 charges, including malice murder, the highest level of the crime. Gregory McMichael, found guilty on 8 of 9 charges, including felony murder. William Roddy Bryan, found guilty on 6 of 9 charges, mostly related to aiding and abetting. On the 7th of January, 2022, the court announced its verdict. Travis and Gregory McMichael were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. William Bryan was also sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. This trial was not only a confirmation of justice for Ahmaud Arbery, but also a powerful statement that modern society cannot tolerate acts of racially motivated violence, regardless of the perpetrator. The death of Ahmaud Arbery was not only a tragedy for one family, but also a shock to the modern American consciousness. The case exposed a hard-to-swallow truth, that even in the 21st century, a black man can still be killed in the middle of the street just for jogging. And what's even more terrifying, without the video recording, it's very possible that none of the 3 suspects would have been held responsible. The video, shot by William Bryan, is not only evidence, but also a profound reflection of the racial prejudices that still exist. The public outrage after the video was leaked led to large-scale protests, contributing to the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement after a period of silence. Questions like, if Arbery were white, would this have happened, became the subject of national discussions. Legally, the case had significant consequences. Not only were the 3 defendants convicted in state court, but they were also convicted in federal court of hate crimes, a rare step toward defining racially motivated crimes. In addition, former prosecutor Jackie Johnson, who initially handled the case and was accused of intervening to protect Gregory McMichael, was indicted for abuse of power, something that was virtually unprecedented in Georgia's legal history. But the most poignant question remains. Without the video, would justice have come? Or would it have been buried under the dust of familiar faces, familiar relationships, and systematic lies? That question still resonates not just in the Arbery case, but in hundreds of other cases that might have fallen silent forever. So what do you think? Is this sentence justice enough? Or is it too lenient compared to what Ahmaud Arbery lost? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Because justice comes not just from the court's decision, it comes from all of us speaking up.